Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Before we get started with today's episode, I want to take a few moments and give you a preview of what you're about to hear and also direct you to some other series that I already have completed on my podcast. So you're about to listen to Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams. You're listening to a 30-part series on that. Today's episode is just one of 30. It's specific to lean leaders, lean managers, anyone who's leading teams of people through process improvement and continuous improvement projects, Six Sigma, those kind of things. It's not about the tools and the methods and all that. It's about how to lead teams of people. So any leader, anybody at any level can get value from this. But I just want you to know that's what this series is about. It's about that specific book. So hope you enjoy it. But I have some other series that may interest you if this series does not. Got a lot of episodes already out there. But I have a book called Blue Collar Leadership, Leading from the Front Lines. It's all about how to become a high-impact individual, how to become a sought-after employee of choice, an employee that people want to hire and want to promote. That series, there's a 30-part series, starts at episode 65. I have another series on my book, Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, Unleash Your Team's Potential. That book is for leaders, formal authority leaders who want to learn how to effectively lead people. That series, 30-part series, starts at episode 111. I have another series. It's an 11-part series on my book, 10 Foundational Elements of Intentional Transformation, How to Become Your Best Self. That series starts at episode 158. I have another series on my Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, the 5 components for building high-performance teams. That book is really for the top leader, and it's how do you become the sought-after employer of choice. It's a 30-part series. It begins at episode 179. My wife Rhea and I, this year in 2021, the theme for my podcast this year was all about change. That's why I'm doing this series on Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams, because it's all about leading teams through change. But we have a 15-part series we recorded together on our book, Change Happens, Leading Yourself and Others Through Change. That series starts at episode 211. And then this Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams series, the one you're about to listen to, one of the episodes of, it started at episode 230 and will be a 30-part series. So it's going to take a little while to finish it. Hope you find value in some of these series. Let's get to today's podcast. All right, everyone, we've talked about leveraging the team recently. And in the last episode, I talked about expanding the team, leveraging the team's influence. Today, chapter 28, part 28 of 30. Today's chapter is titled Leverage the Leaders. So we leveraged the team, we expanded the team. Now I'm talking about leveraging the leaders in the organization, not just leaders on your team, all of the leaders. Those people who are on the org chart officially, who are definitely managers. That's what got them on the org chart. And they all have influence. So they're leaders also, some better leaders than others. But what I'm talking about, the title of this chapter 28, is Leverage the Leaders. The subtitle is Maximize the Influence of the Leaders Who Support You. Last episode, I talked about maximizing the Kaizen team members specifically, but also anyone in the plant at any level. But this time, specifically talking about formal authority leaders, those who support you. Because formal authority leaders, they have a lot of artificial influence. And if they have a high degree of character, they also have a lot of authentic influence. So when you lead leaders, you get all of their followers. That's pretty powerful. That's how you maximize your influence. So I'll share a quote with you as we get started today from Patrick Lencioni. He says, if you could get all the people in an organization rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry, in any market, against any competition, at any time. So when I talk to you about being a high impact lean leader, that's your mission right there. To get all the people in the organization rowing in the same direction. Now you may not ever you may not ever accomplish that feat. That's quite a feat, especially when some people don't like you. I've worked in organizations, I've mentioned before, where people hate me. But that didn't stop me. It just stopped me from having a lot of influence with them. It didn't stop me from having a lot of influence with everyone else. It didn't stop me from growing and developing my own influence. I ignore those people. Those people are not going to help me move the organization in the right direction. So I don't worry about those people. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I'm not against them. They're just headed in one direction. I'm headed in another direction. So as you focus more on the respect for the people, foundational layer of lean, you'll also position yourself as a resource for developing the formal leaders and their teams within the organization. See what's going to happen. You may not be seen as the leader of the organization. You may just be seen as the lean leader, or the process improvement manager, or the continuous improvement manager, whatever your title is. You got to earn the right to lead. But I'm teaching you in this book how to leverage Kaizen teams to position yourself as the leader of these people. All they have to do is choose to follow you, and you're their leader. All they have to do is want to follow you, and they're your leader. I mean, you're their leader. It doesn't matter what level they're at. I've led Kaizen teams with owners of companies all the way down to the frontline entry-level people on the same team. VPs, executives, directors, superintendents, project managers, engineers, everybody that works in an organization. I've had those people on my teams. So I've had the opportunity to build influence with all these people who operate at all these different levels in all these different departments. As a lean leader, you'll get to do that as well. But you got to work on yourself if you want to be really good at it. That's what this book is about, helping you do that. But as you do this on your Kaizen teams, people who are high up on the org chart, they get to witness you and experience you. Who are you? How do you lead? How do people respond to you? What kind of information have you given them that actually helped them get better at being a better leader, or being a better husband or parent or mother at home? You start helping people have a better life, you start having a lot of influence with them. So as a leadership expert doesn't need to be a lean expert. However, in order to be a high impact lean leader, you must be both. You got to be a lean expert. You got to have competency relative to lean. And then you need to be a leadership expert. And it doesn't mean you know everything about leadership. Being a lean expert means you know a whole lot about lean. Being a leadership expert means you're a lifetime student of leadership. It means you know you're never going to learn it all, no matter how much you grow and develop and read and watch and listen to leadership development. You're never going to learn it all. You're never going to have all the answers. That's what a leadership expert is. Not somebody who walks in the room all cocky thinking they're a wizard. They know everything. Their life's perfect. If you got a leader like that, you need to get away from that leader. And I'm here to encourage you not to ever be that leader. And if you're listening to me, I don't think you're that leader. Or if you are, you're trying to become a better leader and move beyond that traditional old school leadership, or excuse me, management and supervision. I'm trying to move beyond that to high impact leadership. So most often though, in an organization, you can become the leader very easily, because most often no one has taken responsibility for leadership development, because few, if any, leaders have been exposed to formal leadership development or have an interest in it. It's hard to believe, but in most organizations, white collar or blue collar, but especially blue collar, you can go into an organization and there's people that all the way from top to bottom who've never been to a leadership development workshop, seminar, conference, who haven't read leadership development books ever. That's the norm, not the exception. That's the norm. So if you start growing and developing yourself, you're going to be the expert in your organization, especially if you do it year after year after year. I mean, look, you look at me from, I never had heard of this type stuff until 2008. It's 2021 now. That's 13 years. I've been reading every day for 13 years. That's why I've learned so much. But what I've learned the most is I'm never going to learn it all. I don't really consider myself a leadership expert. I consider myself a lifetime student of leadership. But again, in my mind, that's what a leadership expert is. Because someone who is a lifetime student of leadership, they're going to learn a lot about leadership, far more than all the other people who think they don't have any reason to read leadership. A lot of those people on the org chart, they never, in their entire career, they're never going to read and study leadership because they don't value it. They value management. They value dictating. They value directing. They value telling. That ain't me. And if you're listening to me, it's probably not you either. So when I talk about no one's taking responsibility, that's awesome. It's depressing and disappointing for the people, but for you as a leader, that's awesome. That means it's out there. All you got to do is take it. It's yours. And again, that's what this book, Blue Collar Kaizen, that's what this book is about. You as a lean leader, process improvement leader, you take the wheel. And I'm teaching you through this book, how do you actually do it while you're still leading lean? You just, it's like a covert operation. You in there in the cover of darkness, becoming the leader of the organization, because people who don't know, they don't know what's happening. That's what I used to tell certain people. People would hire me in as a consultant. They didn't have any idea they were actually hiring a leader. They were hiring a high impact leader. At the beginning, I didn't even have an idea that's what they were doing. All I knew is I could get results. But as I kept reading and learning and changing and applying, I started to realize that's what they were doing. They were not hiring a consultant. Most all of my clients, they always said, you're not like the other consultant. You're different. What made me different was I took responsibility. What made me different was I led people. I unleash people's potential. It's what I'm trying. It's what my passion is about. It's about unleashing people's potential, and it's about helping leaders learn how to unleash people's potential. I go straight to the people and unleash their potential, and I go straight to the leaders and help them unleash the people's potential, whichever way they want to do it. Either way, that's what I'm going to do. I ain't chasing people. Some people say, why don't you have a cold call? I ain't trying to pressure people. I just answer the phone, answer the email. If I want some business, that's what I do. If nobody's calling me or emailing me, I'm going fishing. I'm going to the beach. I'm going hiking. I'm going to go enjoy life. What I want to be doing is helping people. What I'm doing with you right now is why I do this podcast. It's why I don't get sponsorships. And if you want to help me, copy this link, share it, paste it, tell people about it. I don't go out and beg people to do that. But a lot of people do want to help me help other people. That's how you do it. I don't get a lot of visibility. A lot of my social media podcasts, I don't get a lot of visibility because nobody's trying to promote me, because I'm not buying ads. I'm not monetized. I'm not trying to monetize anything. So I don't get a lot of visibility, but it's my choice. That's the way I want to do it. So let's get back to this, becoming the leadership expert in your organization. I got a little sidetracked there. I get fired up sometime. But again, if no one in leadership, or excuse me, if there is no leadership development program, if there's nothing formally out there in your organization, that means it's going to be easy for you. Now, if you get all into this stuff and you start learning about it, and then you get hungry for it, and there is a formal leadership development department, whatever you want to call it, in your organization, it's probably going to be a lot harder for you, because a lot of those people are going to be insecure. A lot of formal authority, but a lot of formal leadership development programs that are inside of companies, they may have a talent development professional or an organizational development professional. They went to school, they got an education to develop people, but they don't have a passion for it. It's just a job. Not all of them. Some of them are leaders, high impact leaders, but there's a majority of them that I've seen where I go into organizations, and there's a talent development professional or organizational development professional. They ain't gung-ho and crazy about leadership and personal growth like I am, because I'm passionate about it. I get fired up about it. But most of the people I meet, it's just a job. They're not trying to model a high degree of character intentionally. They may have a high degree of character naturally, but most of them, it's just a job. And it's not that they're always teaching and training and developing people on leadership. It might be one week. Next week, it may be something related to a competency to do the job. Most of those departments they're kind of like formal training. Their job is to do professional training. And they are passionate about training. They're passionate about doing all kinds of training, but it may not be leadership. That's why a lot of organizations struggle, because you need motivated, passionate, inspired people to be leading and sharing and developing anything related to personal growth and leadership development. It doesn't matter what the person's job is. If they're gung-ho about this, they need to be in front of people. This stuff's more caught than taught. That's what makes me different. When I go, everywhere I go, people's like, you're different. Or people say, man, I've been all kind of things. This is the best thing I've ever been in. It's because I'm fired up about it. That's why. It's because I've got results about it. That's why. I mean, because of it. I've got results because of it. So if you got a formal leadership development program in your organization, you might be up against banging your head against the wall. You're trying to do stuff, and they saying, oh no, we got this figured out, or we know another way to do it, or we've already been doing it. You do your job, we do our job, all that goofy stuff. But that's okay. You keep growing and developing. You keep doing what I'm teaching you in this book on your Kaizen teams. You may not be able to do it out beyond that, but you may grow and develop your influence where you can do that. And eventually you may end up at a better organization where you can do exactly what you want to do. But the key, regardless of what's going on, is to use your influence to become the leadership resource beyond the Kaizen events. If you're leading Kaizen events, again, you get to control that space. That's your space. If you want to do a little personal growth, leadership development, like I teach you, 4 hours on Monday, 1 hour Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on a 5-day event, you probably can do that as long as you're getting good results. So again, you've got to be competent. If you got the competence and you do what I'm teaching in this book, you're going to get phenomenal results. You're going to have a lot of influence. All this stuff's going to happen. So you can start creating and promoting leadership development programs. If there isn't a conflict, or there isn't a leadership development program at all in your organization, you create and promote leadership development programs so others will know what you offer. Just like you host it or you facilitate a Kaizen event for a day or 3 days or 5 days, you could schedule and say, hey, I'm going to do a 1 hour teamwork development session or class or whatever you want to call it in between Kaizen events, or during weeks when you don't have, or days or weeks when you don't have a formal Kaizen event going. You just put it together, blast it out, tell people you're going to do it, and you teach whoever shows up. If you do that on day one, nobody might show up. If you've been leading Kaizen events the way I teach you in this book for several months, especially several years, you put something out like that, there's going to be a lot of people who want to come learn from you if you're living what I'm talking about, what I'm teaching you about. So you can You can do this at the same time. You can create the process improvement component, and you can create and develop the respect for the people, which I call leadership development component. But the more you focus on leading the leaders, the more the leaders will focus on leading themselves and others. That's why as you learn this, you start teaching leaders how to lead. You start building these relationships. Put together leadership sessions, Leadership 101. I've got books to help you do that. 10 Values of High Impact Leaders, Defining Influence, Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, Unleash Your Team's Potential. Tons and tons of books. Change Happens, Leading Yourself and Others Through Change, Blue Collar Leadership and Teamwork, Blue Collar Leadership Toolbox Tips. I've got all kinds of resources to help you. And you can get certified to teach my stuff if you didn't know it. You can go to bluecollarleadership.com/certifications, and you can see how you can get certified, licensed, whatever you want to call it, for life to teach my stuff. If you wanted to teach what's in this book right here that I'm doing this podcast series on at the moment, you can. If you're a lean leader and you have a lot of lean people who report to you, you can get certified to teach this content to them. Any of my books, it's $1,000 per person for a lifetime license. And I give you a training kit, and I give you a video, hour video, teaches you how to use it and what's in it, and that sort of thing. And you can make as many copies as you want. You can teach as thousands of people. You can charge and get paid for it. You can do it for free. I don't care. I'm going to let you stand on my shoulders. So any book you want to get certified on, it's $1,000 per person per book, and it goes with you. If you leave that company, it goes with you. It don't stay with the company. You take it wherever you go. It's a feather in your cap. You get certified on 2 or 3 of these books, you put it in your resume, you got something that most people are not going to have when you go try to get a job. Especially if you got a list of leadership books that you've read, and you put that on the back, and you've got a list of 50 or 100 books you've also read, the date you read them, the author, the title. People are going to know you're different. And if they value this stuff, they're going to be looking for you. You'll be getting an interview, and you'll probably be getting an offer. But let's say you're trying to grow and develop people, and you don't feel like you're an expert. That's the way I was when I started. Don't be afraid to learn together. You still can say, hey, I'm gonna do a class on whatever subject, teamwork, and you can get the content, or you can order an audio and download the audio, or watch a YouTube video and play it. We're gonna learn together. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna learn why you watching it. We're gonna learn together. I'm not an expert. I'm a student of leadership. So if you have humility and not a lot of pride and ego, you're going to be able to help leverage the leaders. Again, subtitle of this chapter, maximize the influence of the leaders who support you. You're going to build good relationships with leaders who are on the org chart if you become a high impact, lean leader. You're going to help them get results. You're going to help them increase their productivity, reduce their lead times, improve the quality. All kinds of things you're going to help them with. But also, if you're doing this leadership component, the personal growth component, you're going to make their teams easier for them to lead. You're going to help them become better leaders of their teams. Everybody's going to be winning. And everybody's going to be giving you credit. You're not doing it for the credit. You're doing it for the impact. But when people know you're responsible, they're going to give you credit. Some are going to do it behind your back in a good way. Some are going to do it in front of other people in a good way. And there's going to be those other people out there that maybe don't like you. They're going to be bad mouthing you. Don't worry about that. You just keep making it happen. They don't value what you value or what I value. They're everywhere. But the more of this you do, the less of those people are going to be in your organization. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from Andrew Carnegie. Oh, let me say something else first. The more you focus on leading the leaders, the more the leaders will focus on leading themselves and others. Don't want to miss that. The more you focus on leading the leaders, the more the leaders will focus on leading themselves better and also on leading others better. Again, everybody's job gets easier when that happens. But I'm telling you, as a high impact lean leader, you take that responsibility on. You become the leadership development guru, whatever term you want to use within your organization. So let's get to that quote by Andrew Carnegie. We'll wrap up today's session. Andrew Carnegie says this: is a big step in your development when you come to realize that other people can help you do a better job than you could do alone. I say it all the time. It ain't about you, but it starts with you. It ain't about me, but it starts with me. Today I'm helping you. It ain't about me, it's about you. But if I hadn't worked on me first, I couldn't be helping you. So it starts with me, but it ain't about me. So as a lean leader, high impact lean leader, I'm here to tell you, it starts with you, but it ain't about you. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership Series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.